Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Sunday Live. It is week 4. We're already off to quite the hot start this morning. I'm your host, Mike, the Fantasy Hitman Wright from the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Thank you all so much for joining me. The Tilt Fest extravaganza will be heavily tilted this morning, as I'm sure a lot of you out there are. Look, we have a lot of news, a lot of players to talk about here. Thank you for joining me. If you've never joined the Sunday Live show, this is how it goes. We run through all the big news of the day. We check out some trending start-sit questions, and then we jump into your questions from, you, the people. And there's going to be a lot of questions today. Oh, my goodness. On the ones and twos today, I have Owl Borland.
What's up, best friend?
Okay. I see what's a little aggressive, but I like it. You are, in fact, my best friend of the day. Can you get me into the Sunday Live? Oh, wait. No, I found it. Here we go. We're going to go into the big picture. No, we're not, because that drop didn't do anything.
The big picture.
All right. The tech working out just like it should. All right. So here's the big thing. We're going to start with the Alvin Kamara news. Alvin Kamara, if you didn't see, because some of us are just still waking up, he is out for the London game. Look, that game is, cruising along, nearly over, in fact. Here is how I am handling the situation personally. And there's a lot of people who think differently than I do. There was no real news trending throughout the week. Look, I'm plugged in. This is my job. I am plugged in and I didn't hear any beat reporters sounding an alarm Monday through Friday about Alvin Kamara possibly missing. The guy played last week. Now, the Saturday there was the call-up of Latavius Murray from the practice squad, which was pretty quiet. Again, that one slipped by me. Some people did see it. And then a lot of people woke up on Sunday morning to Alvin Kamara being out. Fantasy football is about fun first to me. I think you show that fantasy manager some grace. You let them put a backup player from their bench into that starting spot. You got to, before the Sunday slate obviously starts. That's just how I personally would handle it. A lot of savages out there on Twitter are saying you snooze, you lose. So it's going to be up to each individual league to make their own choice. But put your feet in the shoes of the player who has Alvin Kamara and maybe just woke up to, wait a minute, Alvin Kamara is out? So that's how I'm handling it. We did see a tweet from a good friend of our show, Adam Azer, who does the CBS podcast, the fantasy football show over there. He said 85% of CBS leagues had Alvin Kamara started. So people did not know that Alvin Kamara wasn't going to be out. And then there was like a fiasco with, I think on the ESPN platform, that Kamara wasn't even getting marked out until in the game had already started. Look, crazy situation. It's a one-off. Do with it as you want to. And, shout out to Taysom Hill for being such a fantasy football stud and scoring touchdowns. All right, the ins and the outs. Mac Jones is out. He will not be playing for the Patriots. Clearly, Jameis Winston was marked out earlier before the game started a couple days ago. Cordero Patterson of the Falcons, he was questionable, but he's going to play. Here is a big one. Christian McCaffrey, Carolina Panthers. He is questionable. Now, he got a limited practice in on Friday. That was the information that we had. The reports are coming out this morning that he still is truly 50-50 with that quad injury. He's going to test it out. Of course, he's an afternoon game. So, cool. Make sure you have we have the information now. Make sure you have your backup option ready. Maybe that is just Deontay Foreman or Chuba Hubbard. Maybe that's the best you can do right now. But be prepared for Christian McCaffrey to miss this week. David Montgomery is out. Khalil Herbert, holy crap. If you spent the fab on him, if you burned the priority, you should be in for a treat. DeAndre Swift is out for the Lions. I mean, we could spend like 15 minutes reading through who is out for the Detroit Lions because goodness gracious, They are in some personnel trouble. Boston Scott for the Philadelphia Eagles is out as well. But we're going to have to talk about that game's weather in just a moment. Rondale Moore of the Arizona Cardinals expected to be available. I don't know what that quote's all about. That's some chicanery if I've ever heard. So you can't play Rondale Moore, but Rondale Moore is available in a lot of leagues right now. He needs to be stashed. The work that the Dortch has been doing, those targets should rapidly go to Rondale Moore, who would play the slot role. And Rondale Moore is an athletic freak, tests off the charts. I would be stashing Rondale Moore right now if I could. Hollywood Brown is expected to play as well while A.J. Green is out. So, I mean, we got the bump to Hollywood, and the Dortch should see some targets. Gabe Davis, we weren't sure what was going to go on with that situation, but he is going to play. And we will talk about the Buffalo Bills game in just a moment because of the weather. The weather. Oh, the weather. Michael Gallup will be making his season debut for the Dallas Cowboys. DJ Chark. Amon-Ra out. Josh Reynolds is in for the Lions. Good news, Detroit. Josh Reynolds will be your guy carrying you. And I mean TJ Hawkinson as well. But Swift, Amon-Ra, Chark, that's a disaster. Zay Jones is out. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is expected to play tonight, but that's the Sunday night game. Players who are out: Hunter Renfrow of the Raiders. Keenan Allen will miss again. Jacoby Myers, Patriots, is out. Wan'Dale Robinson and Kadarius Toney, they remain out for the Giants. Now for Tampa Bay, here is some good news. Russell Gage is expected to play tonight, and Julio Jones, Chris Godwin. It was reported earlier today. They are game-time decisions, but they are expected to play. I'm not super pumped to play Julio Jones. I'm not super pumped to play Chris Godwin today on the first game back after the extended absence because of the hamstring injury. But the great news is Rod God, Chris Godwin, is coming back soon. If he goes off on your bench tonight, then you know you're good to go next week. If he comes in and he's seeing limited snaps, then we got another question mark going into next week. But the good news is that he is starting to get healthy. At the tight end position, Dawson Knox and Dalton Schultz will be in. The Schultz, okay, so how Dalton Schultz is a very tough play. He's not a doctor, but you know, we see trends from time to time based off of certain injuries. And the injury that he had, I'm a little surprised that he is going to be back this quickly. With that knee still a little bit hobbled, not exactly sure how effective he will be on the field or what kind of snaps he's getting. So I fielded a question of Gerald Everett. Someone was able to get Gerald Everett or Dalton Schultz. I'm going with Gerald Everett. Keenan Allen out. I know that Everett is going to be on the field, so I'm a little bit scared to play Dalton Schultz. Meanwhile, Brevin Jordan will be out for the Texans. Foster Moreau is out for the Raiders. All right, let's talk about weather. What everybody wants to talk about in fantasy football, the weather. The Buffalo and the Baltimore game, it is in Baltimore. We have rain. We have the winds at the level where you have to actually raise an eyebrow and go, okay, well, is this going to affect the game? We're not talking about the winds from, what was that, last year where people would throw the ball and it would just like boomerang back. I don't think we're talking about those levels where the game just turned into you have to run because you don't have the option to throw the ball. But it is going to affect fantasy performances. And the Jacksonville-Philadelphia game, that field, at least a few hours ago, was just drenched. I've heard that the rain has subsided for now, but we expect it to come back. To highlight it, their over-under over on the books was at 47, and that thing has dropped all the way to 43.5. So the money is saying that people are concerned about the game hitting that over-under total. How does that change things for fantasy football? Like, okay, my Buffalo guys and my Baltimore guys, those are superstars, and I'm going to be playing them. Maybe Devin Singletary, not a superstar, but because he's the running back, you know, if anyone should get more work when it's difficult to throw the ball, it's the running back, so I'm still going to play him. The Jacksonville-Philadelphia game, man, take that up to the wire. Make sure you're checking out our radar if you can to see exactly when the rain will be going and when it will not. But it is an issue, and maybe you have a little bit of a better, at least a lateral pivot option for some of those players. I mean, A.J. Brown, you don't have a lateral pivot. I totally understand. If I have A.J. Brown, I'd be playing him and just crossing those fingers, crossing the toes. Anything that I have on my body that is crossable would be crossed for the duration of the football game. Owl Borland.
Yes, sir.
Is the computer tuned up and ready to go with these start-sit questions we are getting? Thank you. Oh, the weather. Moving on.
He's so hot right now.
All right, here's what we do. TheFantasyFootballers.com, that's where our rankings are. That's where our start-sit tool is, which is a real handy-dandy feature. You plug in, should I start player X or player Y? We rattle it through the algorithms, through our rankings, and we show you just some really cool information about that particular matchup between those two players to help you make your decision of who you are going to start sit. If you are a kind supporter of this podcast at jointhefoot.com, that unlocks to be 4 players because, a start-sit question with 4 players, that's way better than 2. It's double, right? Owl, come on, Owl.
That is correct.
I know it's double, but it's okay.
Sorry, I was keeping an eye on that chat.
Okay.
It's flying.
All right, good man. But so it's tough to talk about every single player on this particular Sunday Live, but those rankings are going to be there. They're going to be updated. We take the trending players to try and help the most people. Who's trending? Who's hot right now?
We're going to start at the quarterback position. A lot of people asking about Jared Goff. So would you start all of these players over Goff? Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, Russell Wilson over Jared Goff, yes, I would. Steel underpants, they're up for that start of the week for the start against the Las Vegas Raiders. The matchup. We have to be able to believe in the numbers, Russell Wilson. Help us out. Come through. We need a big night from you today. The second one was Thomas Brady. I'm encouraged that we're getting the weapons back for Tom Brady. That's nice. I would prefer the game-time decision weapons over the out ones. I mean, like Jared Goff and Detroit, they're just not the type of team where I'm cool starting Goff no matter what, like who's on the field with him. I mean, we had this exact situation with Tom Brady last week where, the matchup wasn't great, but his weapons were gone, and it was, you can't play Tom Brady. Like this, it's not going to work out. The inverse is true today. So I would be playing Tom Brady over Jared Goff. Now, Trevor Lawrence, he's in that weather game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, gosh. The weather is so difficult because we see games where you're like, well, the weather's – players playing rain, they still put up points, a little bit of wind, it's fine. We see the weather just crater fantasy value for certain games, and then you see – weather that's pretty close, like it's pretty close in situational to the downpour, and they're just fine. So it is a really difficult decision. I totally get that. I'm take it to the wire, but I'm a little bit scared to play Trevor Lawrence today in that storm. So I think I would go to Jared Goff, reluctantly. Who's next?
All right. We're going to do the same thing at the running back position with A.J. Dillon. Would you start Zeke, Jeff Wilson, Breece Hall? Those are some of the popular names on the website right now.
Are you serious?
I am.
Are you just reading off of my roster?
Honestly, no. That's funny. I did not put it together, but no, these are right off our website.
I thought Kyle was trying to sneak in a start-sit question here. I really like A.J. Dillon this week, like with the Green Bay Packers up against a hurting New England Patriots team. No Mac Jones, no Jacoby Myers. I don't know where we are with the line, but at one point the Packers were double-digit favorites. In those games, you're going to see – I mean, you'll see Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, but Dillon's their guy. When they're ready to salt the game away, they jump on the back of that big, strong man with those gigantic quads, and they let him run it out. Now, fully projecting game script can bite you in the face sometimes, but I really, really like A.J. Dillon. He is a very safe floor play to me this week with the upside that, you could have a multi-touchdown game here from A.J. Dillon. List off those names real quick again for me.
Zeke, Breece Hall, Jeff Wilson Jr.
Okay, so I think that Dillon's the safest of those guys. Then I would go with Jeff Wilson. That volume is going to be secure. TDP, Ty Dallas Page, is out yet again. So, I mean, it's Jeff Wilson's going to be 80% of the running back offense. Zeke, in the matchup against Washington, I do think we're looking at a 60% probability of an Ezekiel Elliott touchdown. So, higher than usual for him, especially for this year. But I do think that he is in a good situation to score. And Breece Hall, he's part of the crew of the Steel Underpants start of the week. If I needed upside, I would play Breece Hall over Zeke. Like, looking at my rankings now, not just talking, I have Breece one spot behind Ezekiel Elliott. That's, in terms of rankings, that's nothing. That if I need upside, I'm going to go with Breece Hall. And if I just need stability, I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon. I think between Dillon and Jeff, we're talking the stability combined with the upside goes to A.J. Dillon. So I know that was a lot of word vomit to talk about those players, but hopefully that made sense.
All right, let's move over to the wide receiver position. We're going to do the same thing with Big Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, Cortland Sutton, Gabe Davis.
Okay, so Cortland Sutton is every week. Cortland Sutton's pulling in a 30+% target share. He's averaging, basically 100 yards per game. He's the guy. Until Jerry Jeudy proves to us that he is actually going to siphon target share away from Cortland Sutton, Sutton is in there every single week. Gabe Davis, expected to play, but you have a guy that we weren't sure was going to play. You combine that with the weather, so he's a little bit sketchy. Who was the other? Oh, Mike Williams. Mike Williams against Houston. Look, when you start Mike Williams, you are riding the snake, and you might get bucked off. I mean, this could, and I'm talking about this is a snake like you're playing Battletoads. Like, this is Battletoads, whatever that snake level was. You got to just hold on, and you're jumping from snake to snake, just platform jumping. I don't know where I'm going with this reference, but it sounded good in my head, and we're trapped with it. But my point is, Mike Williams could give you 3. Mike Williams could give you 23. So looking at the rest of your roster, know what you need. But Mike Williams is an every week start to me as long as Keenan Allen is out, which he continues to be out. So Mike Williams is in. Sutton is in. Gabe Davis of those guys is at the bottom, which is so brutal. That matchup against the Baltimore Ravens is the juiciest of the juicy for fantasy football. And we have rain on our parade yet again. We have literal, not metaphoric, literal rain washing out our parade.
All right, we're going
to build a dome, Buffalo.
We're going to wrap this up at the tight end position. Gerald Everett, would you start David Njoku or Robert Tonyan over him?
Okay, that's a good question. I would go David Njoku. I would chase those points absolutely because maybe it's just confirming my prior, so I'm stuck in that pass. But the way that they gave Njoku the bag of money and Jacoby Brissett's his tendencies to go to the tight end position, that seems like that's what they would want to do. Amari Cooper and David Njoku. The matchup against the Falcons, it could go back and forth. I'm good playing David Njoku. I really like him this week. Gerald Everett he's like just a little bit better than the touchdown or bust tight ends, so he will get some volume and he can hit a big play. Bob Tonyan remains just I know Andy really likes him this week, but he remains just a bench stash to me until we really see he's going to be on the field for 70+% of those snaps, getting all the targets that he truly deserves. Plus, there's more weapons back. Like Christian Watson's going to play this week, so it's not just a completely depleted wide receiver room. Sammy Watkins, the Lizard King, he's on IR still, but Lazard looks like he's as healthy as he's been since the beginning of the year. The Dobbs breakout, Cobb healthier than he was last week. there's a lot of reasons why Bob's just on my bench, but he is still a very, very, very interesting player to be stashing.
Cool.
Is that it for it?
Just a quick update on this London game. Just since we started the stream, we've seen a Justin Jefferson rushing touchdown.
What?
And Lutz just hit a 60-yard field goal to tie the game with 1.5 minutes left. So they're getting their money's worth over there.
Did you know who's not? Me. I'm working. What? I'm missing this good game? All right, let's get to the people's questions.
Stardom, set 'em.
All right, Nicholas wants to know Hollywood or London. I love me some Drake London, but with AJ Green out, I am going to go with Hollywood in that situation. That's a very, very, very close start sit. Let's see. We got Zachary wants to know my name is Jeff or James Robinson in a full PPR. I would be going with Jeff. I continue to bet against James Robinson. I continue to lose all my money betting against James Robinson, but I do think that regression is coming for Robinson. He keeps pulling out the big play, the big touchdown play, but this weather game with the field in not optimal conditions and against the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going with my name is Jeff. Next question is Hyphomatic. I don't know. Is Hyphomatic? Sure. Trevor Lawrence or Mr. Unlimited, which I guess I sort of answered that question already. I'm going to go with Russ. Just make sure that your underpants are sturdy. All right. Next question is Tanny24 says, I know Mike hates him, but what do I do with Patterson today? You play him. If Cordero Patterson's active, you got to play him. The Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett is out because of the car accident. Their defense just doesn't look truly tough as of right now, and Patterson is old man strength is working for him over there. Sarah wants to know in a PPR, Damian Harris or Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds in that one for me is because of the PPR. That's huge. Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson should see volume, but I mean, against the Green Bay Packers again, where you're not at full strength, it wouldn't be shocking to see the Packers up 10-0 rapidly, and then they have to abandon the run sooner than later. We got a couple more. Wait, where are we at? Yeah, we got a couple more minutes here. Let's see. Donna wants to know Russell Gage or the Lazard King. Not the Lizard King, but the Lazard King, the true king of the North. With Rod God coming back, with Julio Jones coming back, with Mike Evans coming back from suspension, Russell Gage is a – well, I mean, both of these are, not top-tier plays, but Lazard is actually on the field all the time for the Green Bay Packers. Dobbs was the superstar last week, but Lazard still had a fine game. He's caught a touchdown in both of his games so far, which is kind of that's the bet on Lazard, is that he's just so gigantic, and he has one of the most efficient touchdown throwers in the history of the league, that he's going to score a lot. So far, 2 for 2 for Lazard. Let's get him some more targets, though, Aaron. I would appreciate that. Next question from Sam. Zeke or Marquise Brown? All right, we're going cross-positional here. I like Zeke's chances to score, but again, this is a probability. This is not 100%. I'm not saying the stone cold lock of the week is Zeke scores a touchdown. And true 50-50 timeshare they're going on with Tony Pollard. I'm going to go with Hollywood Brown in that particular question. Logan wants to know Gabe Davis or Drake Lunde, as he spelled it. Lunde. I'm going with the Drake on that one. Help me avoid that storm. Help me avoid a guy who could potentially re-injure himself during the game. Charles, Jeff Wilson or Miles Sanders? I'm going with Jeff Wilson on that one. I'm taking the volume, plus theoretically you have fewer touchdown vulture options in San Francisco than you do in Philadelphia. Cruising through, we got Ashley Riddler wants to know Ertz or Higbee. Ooh, okay. So Ertz is definitely safer for some volume, but Higbee is fantastic. In our league of record, which is a half-point scoring format, if Higbee had one touchdown on the season, he would be our tight end 3. And I think that's probably pretty true for most league formats, is that Higbee is crushing. He just hasn't scored yet, but he's dominating in targets and yards. So Higbee's a great player to have on your team. Ertz, safer floor, though. The upside is going to be with Tyler Higbee, though, because if he actually scores, I mean, he's going to be fantastic. Let's see. We'll just hit a couple more questions. Again, thefantasyfootballers.com. Our rankings are all there. The start-sit tool. We have a lot of start-sit questions here that are just 2 players. Go over there. It's completely free. Or if you want to support the pod, jointhefoot.com. It unlocks it 2-4. Let's see. We got Dameon Pierce. This is from John. Dameon Pierce or Josh Jacobs in a full PPR. Oh, man. I'm going Josh Jacobs in that one. Getting a good amount of work. Dameon Pierce had the work last week, but that was could see it coming from a mile away because they're playing the Chicago Bears, who are completely inept on the offensive side of the football, meaning the game script was going to be in Pierce's favor. Rex Burkhead continues to be the third down and the passing role running back on that team, so I would look the other direction. Pierce is an okay play this week, but I prefer some other guys over him. A couple quick ones. Is there snow in Vermont? I did not hear. So I do not have an update on the snow model. I apologize for that. You could go look that up. Trying to get one more here. Trying to get one more good one that we haven't covered yet. Okay. This is a good one to end on. Dominic, injured Christian McCaffrey or Cordero Patterson? So I was talking to Kyle. Kyle's my Coco in the League of Record. And we have some depth. Like we have Kareem Hunt, Jeff Wilson, A.J. Dillon. So we can pivot away from Christian McCaffrey. And we are very, very torn. A quad injury is no joke. I think that there's a strong chance that decision is made for you. Oh, but he's Christian freaking McCaffrey. How do you possibly bench him if he is active? We're riding. The end of that conversation was we are going to ride with Christian McCaffrey, but that is high risk. There are a lot of red flags going on with that. And then the final question here, Ryan says, A.J. Dillon or Devonta Smith for the flex? I'm terrified of the Philadelphia game. Just the reports that I've been getting. I'm not in Philadelphia. I can't tell you exactly what's going on, what the weather is right now, but it's scary. So I would go with A.J. Dillon, who's a fantastic play. Very, very safe. That's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for today's Sunday Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow on the podcast. Keep it beautiful. I hope you win. Goodbye, everybody.